Hey, baby.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm great.
What we talking about today, baby?
Talking about eggs.
Oh. Eggs?
UAP egg.
Yeah. Alien eggs.
Alien eggs, that's right. You ever see
Well,
that movie Aliens?
I have, yeah.
Good movie.
Yeah. It's a good one. I watched the new Alien recently, too.
Was that good?
It was alright.
Alright.
But what's more interesting than that would be real-life aliens. Why don't you give everyone a little fucking lowdown, baby? You know about all that shit.
About alien eggs?
Yeah, about alien eggs.
Well,
And this guy named Jake Barber.
yeah. He's, I guess you could call him a whistleblower. He's a new guy coming forward here in the grand scheme of the alien game. You saw his recent interview with Ross Coulthart.
I did. I did
News
watch it.
Station, who broke the David Grush story a year or 2 years ago, I guess now.
Yep.
So going back 2 years, we have David Grush, who's extremely credible, coming forward saying that there is UAP or UFO crash retrieval programs that are being hidden from Congress, and
Correct.
And the big gripe of his was, well, it's being mischaracterized as hearsay, and he doesn't have the evidence to bring forward, which it's tough because he can't really bring it publicly forward, and there's a bunch of behind the scenes shit that doesn't get the exciting news clips. But
right. Good
the
point.
shit with him is that it's he's talking about UFO crash retrieval programs that exist, and he's not considered a first-hand witness, even though he might actually have first-hand experience. But now
Right.
Jake Barber, he is one of these first-hand witnesses, according to him, and
Yep.
he is part of these crash retrievals himself.
Exactly.
And from what I understand, when he was in the U.S. military, in the Air Force, he was a very skilled maintenance man. He would work on the helicopters and planes and shit, maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
And then after his military career, he went into the private sector as a helicopter pilot, and it was for a aerospace company that he was a pilot for, and apparently doing these crash retrievals.
Right. You have to have your shit together to be a pilot like that.
Yeah, and it's quite an interesting story that he's coming forward with. We'll talk about the elephant in the room, which is the video footage of supposedly one of these crash retrievals of what looks like an egg, literally.
It does.
Egg.
It even rolled around when it was
when it
on
landed
the ground for a minute. Yeah, it rolled around.
Yeah, from what I understand, that clip is when they were delivering, when it was being delivered. It's a clip of the ending of the retrieval process. They're delivering it. And also want to clarify that that footage is not from the whistleblower Jake Barber. It is something that
Correct.
Ross Coulthart independently got, but it does verify. Jake Barber said this is a very common UFO that they have retrieved, is around a 20-foot egg-shaped, pure, almost pearly metallic white, seamless design.
Right. With no mechanical components, at least no mechanical components that are visible.
Right.
And I think it's important. Sorry, what?
Yeah, I was just going to say it's an interesting video. He talks about a lot in the interview, other things that we can get into if you want. But yeah, I mean, I know when that footage first came out, it was almost like, at least on Reddit, like bombarded with like hate and jokes, like egg jokes and all sorts of shit, which I get, but I mean, if it is real, I mean, it's not going to look normal, and it's like I don't know. It's just it's a very strange video.
It is,
and I'm sure. I mean, in the past, like other people have talked about the exact same like egg shape thing. I can't remember the name, but I know there's one of the most verifiable claims of it was, I think it was in California in the, I don't know, 70s, I want to say, where a police officer saw an egg UFO that was landed on the ground, and there were like people in suits walking around it, and he approached it, and they got in the egg and took off, and then he called the department over. They saw, and they actually have pictures of this, burn marks on the ground from where he says the egg was. Everyone in like the town says this police officer is very like credible and honorable, and like he wouldn't just make up shit like that.
Yeah. Holy shit.
And there's other cases with egg-shaped UAPs as well. So it's I mean, people who wanted more, you also gotta acknowledge that like whoever took that footage, it's obviously a very like tense, stressful situation, and you can't just like set up a bunch of different camera angles and like have a guy like pose next to it for like reference. Like,
yeah, it's not like you're filming a commercial or something. It's
it's like a life retrieval situation.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What did you think of the whole that Jake Barber drop and the footage?
Well, I want to say he did a good job outlining a lot of the information, and I also think that I'm glad you mentioned that it wasn't his video and that they don't know whose video it is other than the interviewer obtained it independently, because nobody deserves to be faced with harassment or anything that could negatively impact their life, you know?
Yeah. Over
that video coming out, because it is a lot of risk for anyone to take that video. You have to have some pretty big balls to do that. Even Jake Barber in the video, he was saying he feared for his life at one point.
Yeah.
So I think people have to really remember that when it comes to any of these people who have had first-hand experience with these UAPs, they're worried for their life too. I mean, they can't always record everything and film everything and go into 1,000,000% detail about every little thing. Saying that, I feel like the fact that a first-hand video actually came out and then you have this guy who's going into detail about it is really important. And I'd like to know if our viewers or whoever's watching believes in it, or if they think it's a hoax. And if they do think it's a hoax, what do they think it is? I'm pretty sure the weather balloon theory must have been like debunked by now, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's it just like the way it rolled, it didn't really make sense for it to be like that, because I mean, I guess you can't really 100% like cross it out, but it's like to like have a huge like rope like that tied to it, like it just didn't make sense how it, like, I think that's why he like emphasized, looked how it rolls when it goes on the ground. Like a balloon isn't going to really act in that same manner, and like
maybe it would bounce a balloon.
Yeah, it would have like bounced more, and like it just like those what are they, like weatherstat balloons or whatever that like look kind of similar. Like it's just never in that kind of positioning. Like usually it's like above and like it would like go up more.
Right, that's a good point. And also, why would they retrieve? Aren't weather balloons like a common thing? Like if one goes down, do they do that for every single weather balloon? Like make a huge deal out of it and retrieve it with 150-foot wire or whatever? Like seems like a lot of work, a ton of work, you know?
Yeah, it would have had to have been like a very expensive like hoax to like do that. But I mean, you can't cross it out 100%. But I mean, you also have to look at like Ross Coulthart's like how he's been operating in these situations, like the amount of like background investigation that he does to like actually verify the claims. Like in Australia, he's like a very prestigious journalist, and
right,
like even this stuff with Jake Barber, like he's sat on for like almost 2 years now, just verifying everything and like making sure it's legit. Like I don't think he would like put out some like bullshit like that. But no, I mean, anything's possible, and yeah, it would be a risk to his whole career and
his credibility.
The only thing I would like maybe get on him for is like beforehand they kind of like super hyped this up as like almost like it was going to be a UFO like flying around.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I was going to make the same point. Like they really sensationalized that whole video interview. It just seemed a little bit like even cheesy at parts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is a shame because the information is so important. But
yeah, I think if you like cut out all that like the hype beforehand and like the little music under the video, and like if you cut that shit out and just take all the shit like in a vacuum by itself, I think it is like a step in the right direction. That like, because now it's like it like started with like Lou Elizondo like saying that the government is actually looking into UFOs. They have a UAP task force like trying to figure out what these things are. And then like we found out that was legit. Like Senator Harry Reid even had to say, yeah, I created this program.
Yep.
So you start with that. Then you get David Grush coming out saying not only do they exist, but there are programs trying to retrieve them. And now we have this guy saying, hey, I was in one of those programs. So if you look at it like that, this is like almost like being in a movie. Like this is how like a movie starts out.
No, for sure. And it is almost like all the puzzle pieces are starting to come together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is fucking crazy. It does feel like a movie. And I would say one thing that I feel like he's going to get shit for is the fact that he got so emotional at one point, because I don't have an issue with that. I think it's important for people to be honest with their emotions. I don't see anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that for how it's going to look to others is you're going to pick it apart and they're going to say, well, this guy's not mentally all there. This guy's not mentally sound because he started crying because he felt like he was getting possessed by something. But
I thought it was actually lending towards his validity in a way. So like that, like an experience like that would obviously affect anyone, and like he at least believes that something happened. It's not like he's bullshitting. Otherwise, he would have to be like a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
So I mean, unless like a reporter can find out that he has like previous mental conditions that would like make him act like that, I mean, you kind of gotta take it at the value that's being given right now. I mean, he's a military veteran who got pretty far, at least in the military. I don't know if he was a whatever they're called, a controller. Like if he wasn't like, I don't think he was like a top end military guy, but I mean he was in it. And I don't know. It's definitely. I thought it made it more realistic in a way to me.
Yeah, no, I could see that side of it too. I'm just trying to point out what I feel like people are gonna nitpick about it, you know?
Yeah.
But I could see the other side of it easily too, that especially if you are coming into contact with anything related to, because like when they went into the remote viewing concept too, which technically has validity to it, like there's documents that it was studied. It's hard with something.
CIA.
Yeah, like if that actually exists to a degree, then it's not too far-fetched to think that someone like him, who could be around an aircraft or around a UAP, could be possessed by or taken over by some type of energy like that. The types of energy that exist outside this planet, I don't think anyone is fully able to comprehend or understand, you know.
Yeah.
But
there's definitely a lot of weird concepts with that. Some people even believe that, like, in like the early days of humanity, when there wasn't really like language, some people think that like telepathy was a way that humans communicated with each other to alert each other that there was danger, like a tiger or whatever around. Right. I mean, who knows with that? But also Lou Elizondo admits that he was part of that remote viewing CIA program, and he claims that he did it himself.
Wow. So. Right. Right. And
I think it's a tough thing for like someone who's not really invested in all this research. They just hear that shit and they're like, fuck that, you know?
Yeah, but that's why I think it's important for people, us and other people out there, to talk about it, because it really is one of the most important questions ever. Are we alone? It's so important. And the fact that it hasn't gained more traction than it has is kind of odd to me. Maybe over time, as the puzzle pieces come together more, maybe it will gain more traction and it will become more of a mainstream thing. But it is weird that even though it's gotten more popular over time, more people believe in it, it hasn't fully reached, like, you know, mainstream news all the time and like a huge pressing question, you know?
Yeah. I saw the only like big like coverage that I saw of this was that guy Penguins Critical.
Oh yeah.
He'd made a video on it. I didn't watch it, but it has like 1 million views now, but the title is "New Alien Evidence is Ridiculous."
He was making fun of it.
At least from the title, it seems like it. I didn't watch the video, but
yeah,
I know he does follow that stuff a bit. But yeah, we'll have to see his video and see if it's more like a clickbaity title. I mean, there's definitely stuff to like be skeptical about with the Jake Barber stuff, like when he was talking about finding those hard drives for the Panasonic ThinkBooks. And like one of them was like in a steel lockbox under like a lake or something. That I mean, I'm not like doubting it, but it sounded like
little James Bondy.
Yeah, but I mean, who the fuck knows? I mean, I wish there was some evidence towards that in some sense, but
right, me too. I mean, the more evidence, the better, obviously, but
it is interesting though, and he did talk to, I know, staffers of like Mark Rubio, and he did go to like the Capitol to like talk to people about this shit. We'll see if he testifies in the future. That would put another layer on top of it.
Right.
I mean, imagine someone testifying to Congress that they retrieved several UFOs. I mean, that would be crazy.
No, it really would be. And the thing is that, you know, more people should be pissed off that so much is being withheld. If you're an American citizen you should care about that.
Yeah.
It's just irritating to be put in the dark for so long. And then for so many years, people who are trying to uncover the truth, they just get given the runaround. You know?
Yeah, it's true. It's and I mean, it's clear if you're like, if you do any sort of legit research into this topic, that like clearly there's something that they don't want to like reveal. Like,
because if there wasn't, then it would not be an issue.
Yeah, they wouldn't like knock down like the UAP disclosure bill to try to just like unclassify certain materials and like make things public. Like, they wouldn't fight shit so hard. Like, with one hand you're saying it's nothing, and then the other hand you're like, but don't look into it. So
exactly, it's disingenuous.
Sort of a double standard. And I do want to clarify with the when Jake Barber was saying he had that like overwhelming emotional moment, which he also referred to, it felt like a feminine energy.
Yes, he did,
which was interesting. That was not with the egg, one of the egg-shaped UAPs. That was when he was recovering. I think he called it like an 8-gon, was like his term for it, but it was like pretty much like classic disc-shaped UAP. He said that.
Oh, my bad. I must have. All right.
Yeah, when he was recovering one of those, that's when he felt that that energy.
Right. Okay.
He said, like, in one of these sessions or recovery efforts, like, there were several of these disc-shaped UAPs that had come to the ground.
Wow.
Yeah, and he called them 8-gon because from above it looked like they were divided into 8 sections on the top of the craft or something.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, I pray to God more info comes out. I think more people need to be talking about it. To anyone who's watched the video for this long, thank you very much, and let us know if you believe in this stuff. Even if you don't, make your argument in the comments section, because just talking about it, I think, is really important. It's crazy to me. I've talked to like some people who they just don't care. Like, they don't, like, they're like, I don't care. To me, that's kind of nuts, but to each their own. But
it's definitely, there's so much stuff in that interview. If you like just look at it at face value, just for like the information, and not all the like, don't go in with like an expectation that like full disclosures coming from this one interview. But even like he also said after recovering those UAPs, him and the crew got like violently sick, and they all ended up in the hospital.
Yeah, you know what's weird is when I was watching that video interview, as soon as he said he was part of the crew that had to retrieve them and transport them places, I immediately thought, oh my God, these people are probably gonna get cancer due to the radiation. And then he literally went on to talk about that exact thing. I was so surprised. I didn't think he was going to go into detail about people getting violently sick and violently ill over it.
I know, and not only that, he also, Ross Coulthart had Gary Nolan, he's a immunologist as well as a professor at Stanford, reviewed his medical records and agreed that it looked like he had some sort of radiation, and he was fucked up.
Right. So to have someone who's credible.
Yeah. Yeah, and not only that, I thought this part is very important too. He had someone else in that crew came forward too on camera and agreed that he got sick as well, and they were recovering it together. So it's not only just him. There's another guy in the crew.
Crazy, man. That interview should have made headlines in the US, but it didn't. It should have, though.
Yeah.
Even if just excerpts of it were talked about on US news, it really should have. He was saying his skin was lopping off.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, for another person on the crew to come forward and say the exact same thing. I mean, I don't know, man.
It's not even like that other guy's like hiding. Like he had like his name and his face totally out there. I just can't remember the dude's name, but
yeah,
he is in the interview, and also other military members, as well as a lieutenant colonel, came forward verifying that he's like an honorable dude. They would trust him and trust their life to him and everything.
Holy shit.
And like those dudes aren't like just random guys in the military. Like the lieutenant colonel handled like the nuclear the football for the president, and like
right,
like these are like legit guys backing them up.
They're not bozos.
Yeah.
They're not people working at Burger King.
Not yet.
Not yet. They might be when they're out of job for talking about it.
Yeah. So it was a very interesting interview, and I'm excited to see maybe in a year or two who else comes forward here.
Definitely. I definitely agree, and I find this all very fascinating to talk about, and I feel like we should talk about it more and do a few more videos on it. And anyone who's interested in it, like I said before, comment, share the video, because the more people who know about it and are talking about it, that's the only way more information is going to come out about it. If there's really an increasing interest in it, people are going to feel the pressure more to reveal more information. So definitely share it. And yeah, I'm going to come out and say it. I think aliens are fucking real. If you think we're completely alone in the universe, I respect your opinion, but not really.
Amen, brother.
Amen, brother.
Let's get in our egg pod and zoom off.
All right, I'm hopping in. No, I phased right through it. There's no doors.
Amen, brother.
Are you coming in?
No. Goodbye.
No. No.
Classic.